Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We are in episode 2 in our series on flexible dieting for contest prep, moving into protein. And this is a place, Adam, where you said you like to be kind of plus 10, minus 10 on protein and carbs, plus or minus 5 on fat. And I totally agree that, first of all, just giving people a measurement that helps them relax. Like, we don't have to be down to the gram. I don't want you at the end of the day, like chopping a little cube of chicken breast off of this one just to make sure you're to the right gram. But we do suggest certain amounts of protein for obvious needs. We don't have to go into all the reasons why we consume a certain amount of protein. But are there ways that you have seen competitors be able to allow some flexibility, whether it's per their workouts, per hunger? Is there a certain amount of fluctuation where it's like, if you're 25, 30 grams up today, it's okay to be lower tomorrow? Or how do you manage any fluctuations in protein differently from other macronutrients?
Yeah, that kind of leads us into our auto regulation, where you absolutely can exchange, protein for carbs equally, because they're 4 grams or 4 calories per gram. So you can make those shifts relatively easily. I do think it's important, though, if you were to just consume a bunch of protein for whatever reason, thinking there's some kind of benefit, there's usually not. And honestly, it can sometimes just be really hard to digest a whole lot of protein. Really, anything a large amount kind of can screw the pooch on that too. So depends on how many enzymes you have for, each macro breakdown. But, it is okay when you're trying to experience like something with your wife or your husband, and you're trying to get maybe more carbs. You might dial protein back a little bit so you can go out to eat at a restaurant. So these are conversations I have with my clients quite a bit, because at the end of the day, as long as the calories are met, I'm totally okay with that. Now, I will say I typically wouldn't really like them to add a bunch of fats, since it's a less thermic macronutrient. So if someone's exchanging for a lot of fats all the time, I'm probably going to put my foot down on that and just say, if you psychologically need it, I'll let you do it. But if you want potentially the best thermic effect of food from the refeed, I would rather you put it in protein or carbs at that point.
Probably two of the most common questions I get with protein really circle around, is too much too much? Like, is it just a waste? And then, is there any benefit to having more? It's kind of two sides of the same coin. And, this is where both are correct, and we just don't have to worry about it. If 90% of the time you're spreading your protein out, you're hitting threshold levels, you're getting enough protein feedings per day to create the better recovery, because it's not that when you just train, okay, I need protein, we need protein around the clock. But we also know that you can desensitize protein receptors and amino acid and all of that whole neurogastric loop mechanism. And so just to almost fast a little bit and give your body the need more amino acid or nitrogen content, can increase the uptake. You don't want to be catabolic all the time, but if you have to be because you just missed a meal, it's not going to kill you. You have your blood liver amino acid pool, you have other circulating amino acids. It's just not the death of your progress. And on the other side of that coin, sure, if you want to go out and have a 16-ounce steak once in a while, of course, it's wasted calories in terms of the fact that you can't utilize all that protein. But like you said, Adam, it's not a bunch of fat intake or carbs if you already hit kind of a threshold of carbs. So if you just want that meal to relax or just whatever, yes, it's not necessary. No, it's not going to kill you.
Yeah, you could definitely do worse things than, select a little bit higher protein for one day, and you're still on track from a caloric standpoint.
Just one last question for you, Adam, as a practical measurement. If you have a client and they're going to eat 4 to 6 times a day, different times of the day, should there be higher levels of protein and then smaller levels, fasting windows between meals? I'm trying to get you to address, should I eat every 3 hours exactly the same amount of protein? If I have 180 grams of protein and 6 meals a day. So they all be exactly 3 hours apart in the same total content.
I think that's a good rule of thumb to plan that way. But when you get to a pre-workout meal, the last thing you want is to consume a lot of protein. And I think that's what a lot of people forget about. So that's probably one of the most important meals, that you would not want a bunch of protein where you're going to spark that rest and digest state. You could definitely double up on a protein meal if needed, if you're behind. But again, it's not really utilized. I just had a client he's a barber, and he said, I feel like I'm messing up because I'm pairing such a big meal at night. It's like 2 protein meals and 2 carb meals. I said, just take out the protein, because it's probably hard to digest 2 double meals. Just pull the protein out, and we can maybe put those carbs or calories from that protein as carbs somewhere else in the day.
That is a perfect execution on that point with that client. And that's my whole point is you said it really well. Plan for the kind of mitigation that you want for catabolism. You're getting protein in several meals and you're hitting threshold amounts, but then be ready to, kind of roll with digestive needs and the different types of foods, a liquid meal versus whole food. But yeah, that would be my final point to that. It's just, we have to have a certain amount of protein. That's the structural element that's probably most important in our diet as competitors, especially in a calorie deficit. But again, there's just so much nuance to, too much can be okay once in a while. Too little's not going to really, ruin your prep, especially again, when you're looking at every single day over the course of months. So let's wrap it up there, and we will spend the next episode, guys, talking about carbs and fat as the biggest energy mechanisms in our diet. See you next time in Contest Prep University.